Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. With me today is D. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jeffrey?
I am good, and if you can't read, then we are doing House of the Dragon episode 3. This is the next episode in our House of the Dragon coverage on HBO and HBO Max, if you have that.
Full spoilers.
Always. And theme song.
TB&J! 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 TB&J!
So, episode 3, House of the Dragon. In case you're new here, and I don't know why this would be your first episode, but just in case, we do things a little differently in TB&J world because the internet exists, and the internet says that things can only be good or bad. So we give things either a thumbs up or a thumbs down based on were they good or bad.
Except this is the third episode of a series.
Yes, throwing in the loop-de-loop there. So for a series, we try to break it into pieces and give each piece kind of a letter grade. We do that with movies as well. It's a little easier with a movie because it's a single piece of media. Shows it's a little harder. We try to break it up into thirds if we can, and we give each third a letter grade based on how it did. So, with this being the third episode of House of the Dragon, it gets a letter. D, what do you think?
Yeah, so it's a thumbs up for me.
Thumbs up for sure.
I forget all of my scores the first time. I'm pretty solid that I gave the last one.
I think the first episode I gave you the thumbs down, or the second one was a thumbs down.
I may have given a thumbs down on the first one, but maybe not. It was like it was very tepid at the very least.
Yes.
But as I may have mentioned to you before the pod, I feel like while there's something to be, I don't know, mildly concerned about regarding Damon's 1980s style like action movie run at the end and like the limits of plausibility,
the heavy plot armor he was wearing.
so long as like it's understood that like some of these folks are gonna bite, like that's a rarity. That was just like suicide, and then he just lucked out. Like John's, like I can buy it once in a series. Like I can buy that literal thing like Jon Snow in Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
You know, just surviving the gauntlet and just, oh shit, it's just shit. That's why what's what legends are made of. Like there's always these stories, right? Of like some dude who just, you know, fucking hard to hit somebody.
And when you're fueled by the hatred of your brother extending an olive branch and you're like, no, fuck that guy.
Yeah, it's just pure luck. But like, but yeah, it's just like, so that, barring that.
Thumbs up from me as well.
I thought this was the strongest episode. I feel like they've gotten progressively better. So
they have. However, I think the first couple episodes weren't super interesting enough to me to bring the whole 3 down a little bit. If it was just based on episode 3, it'd probably be like a B+ or an A-. But with the other 2 involved, it's definitely going to bring it down a bit. And like my biggest complaint is all of the crazy time travel that's happening. Like every episode, I feel like we're just jumping years and years.
Well, we went, I think, like 6 months maybe after the first episode, and then like 3 years after the next.
Yeah, this has been like 3 years, I think.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, they're married now, so you figure the kid's like 2. It's like a second name day, so you figure it's like there's the
plus 9 months from carrying, right. And that's if she got pregnant on their wedding day.
But like, I'd much prefer this than like having to watch like travel that isn't like, the alternative is that like people are traveling and like you could just be like, hey, they left 6 months ago and it's like the next episode is 6 months later and they're arriving. You don't have to tell all those stories, but
you
like
don't.
You know, and it's like, I think it's neat that they have you know, they're avoiding a kind of like just flash jump and all these storylines that don't really line up time-wise. Like they kind of have this centralized story with these main characters. I feel like they've told that pretty well. And it made sense, like where they were with the war at this stage
Yeah. I'm not saying it wasn't like it was terrible, but I just didn't necessarily enjoy it and then they had the one bit in the after the show like behind the scenes bit where the director was talking about how it's been 3 years and he tried to show how the Princess Rhaenyra has this very close relationship with her personal guard, Sir Criston Cole, and they display that in their Kingswood scene together.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get that at all. It felt like it might have been like their first actual time together as two people.
I can agree with you there. It didn't feel as deep as
they wanted it
to be. I did feel that they had fine chemistry. I did feel that they were the whole idea that he like picks up and is immediately on top of like her jolting. Like he gets that she's about to jolt immediately. So that hints at some connection and their familiarity and her she's kind of clearly another scene in this episode where she makes the minstrel play.
Yeah,
again
and again, and he stretches his fingers.
That if you're lacking any true realization of a connection between them, I think it's because like she doesn't recognize those connections. Like he, I think, very clearly showed that he is close with her. They have a relationship, and that there's a hint of that, but she just constantly doesn't see people. Like,
you know
so,
what? That's
so
true.
Regardless of this kind of bourgeoising whatever, I think we're about to see Krista Cole get some. I'm
some princess pussy.
I don't know. No, I'm assuming he's gonna get his face smashed into teeth. But like,
oh really?
I'm wondering what this preview is for the next episode. Not to jump too far, but like this whole like this ugly gossip rumor and stuff like that.
Yeah,
reminds me a lot of like Lannister stuff, and I'm like, I'm 100% getting vibes of Rhaenyra's and Daemon. They're gonna bone, I assume.
Daemon the uncle?
Yeah, that seems like.
I mean, I always am like, ugh, but then it's like, it's Game of Thrones. They do weird shit all the time. Otto Hightower was like, you should betroth her to your son.
That's clearly her path, right? Like, her path is, if she's like usurped for the throne, is to like join her uncle in like another usurped for the throne, like. And they clearly have this like connection. They're gonna jump ahead again one more time, I think. And the actress who plays her is going to be changed into an older actress. So like, I think they're gonna really, and that's gonna like help in like the idea of like these being different. I don't, whatever. Like, that's where I feel like this is going.
There is a 20s, 30s version of Rhaenyra that's been cast, and also an older woman version that's been cast as well, 40s or beyond. So, I mean, she clearly makes it that far. It's just a matter of in what position.
Yeah. So
I am very, very curious to see what happens.
So are you liking this? Like, are you liking this one more? Or
the third episode was awesome because we got that giant battle with all the Corlys's men, the sea serpents men.
You like the spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I watch Game of Thrones for at the end of the day. Like, I want to see those big, awesome battles. And same with not to get too off topic, but with the Lord of the Rings as well.
And I think that, like, this was a nice build to those. Right? Like,
yeah.
I think we got enough of the characterization because a lot of this episode that is good is not even those scenes. Like, I think the stag scene is really good.
The stag scene was awesome.
I really like the Viserys scenes. Like, I cannot believe they've made this character so intriguing to me.
Yes. He very much does care for his daughter. He wants her to be happy, but he's trying to weigh that against his duties as king and her duties as princess and heir to the throne. Yeah. Like, you have to get married. You have to populate. That's just our duty as ruler.
And he's just getting, like, swung around because, like, he's so given into... he's a
very appeasing man.
Well, yeah, he's a very appeasing man, and he's very susceptible to, like, signs, and he said as much. Like, he recognizes about himself that he's like, he wants to believe these things, and like,
yeah.
So like, an Otto kind of clearly knows this, and like, he's just so like, and I think I read like when he's killing the stag, like wrong, like he's kind of like they're like it exactly what happened was that like they say they're gonna get a white stag, and then they get his hopes up, right? So he starts to believe in this. He starts to get his, and then it ends up just being a brown stag. So they're just like, oh, but it's just like, it's a big one. It's this. So it's just like they're clearly just that's a classic like bait and switch,
Absolutely,
like con, like of like, oh, here's the thing you want, or here's something to help. Like a classic one, if you don't know, kids, is for like someone to need a hand with their car or something. Their car is, and they need to jump or something in the parking lot, and before you know it, they're asking you to return something in the store inside.
mm-hmm.
And these, and people, because they've already committed in their minds to help, when the person presents them in a specific way that they can help, they may be confused but willing to like, and this is kind of the whole like the way that he's just manipulated throughout this. Like it's just like he's primed to think it's compelling, and that makes him doubt himself, and makes him, that's exactly what Otto wants. He wants him to essentially getting enshrined to the throne. And then fucking Otto's trying to get Rhaenyra's to marry her brother.
Yeah.
Like
that would strengthen her claim by marrying her 2-year-old brother.
He's like, man, it solidifies your line, doesn't it?
And I'm just like, dude, what? Jesus Christ. And then the white stag of fabled legend approaches Rhaenyra and Sir Criston Cole while they're just enjoying the Kingswood. And I'm just like, yeah, she's clearly fated to be like the next one on the throne, but it's not going to happen. We all know it. Something's going to happen, or she's going to get banished, or the brother is going to come of age or get murdered and she'll get blamed for it. There's a million things that could happen, but I don't see her actually getting to the throne, and it'll definitely be probably her, I just said that. It'll probably be one of her main like driving forces as a character in the later seasons of this show.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get all the way to like old lady Rhaenyra and she's still just unfulfilled and not on the throne, because that's not great. I want to see her do
like
something.
I said, I think she's gonna rebel as these factions kind of take hold, and I think that like as it's more clear that like Viserys is. Well, did you notice that he doesn't have fingers?
No, I wasn't looking.
It's progressed. His little
Ooh,
nicks and cuts.
That is subtle.
Getting sliced up by the Iron Throne.
Yeah, because he was getting his one finger treated with the maggots in the last episode. It was all dead flesh.
Yeah, he's got to be like a pus little flesh bag underneath there. Like he's looking wary. He and Otto were looking pretty haggard.
Yeah.
I thought in this, and I think, yep.
Also, we were wrong. I just want to point that out. The Hightowers are definitely in Game of Thrones.
Really? Who are they?
Yeah, the Hightowers are the rulers of Hightower, which is part of the Old Town with the Maesters. Mm-hmm. So they're like the family that's kind of like in charge of Old Town, and the Maesters are there doing their thing.
Do we meet any of them characters?
Not that I know of. They get mentioned a couple times as throwaway lines, but in the books, the Hightowers rarely leave the tower. Like the patron of the family doesn't leave the tower.
More or lesser, John.
But they are like these. They are incredibly wealthy, and they have and they have a very large army based on all of their wealth and influence from being there in Old Town. So
this leads me to even more interest and intrigue to Mr. Otto Hightower, as the rumor mill is the theory goes that the Maesters are have a conspiracy to kind of eliminate dragons and mythology and almost
100%,
magic from the world, which makes like perfect sense for them.
Yeah,
to
100%.
kind of control that, keep it contained, and not have to worry about it, and kind of keep everything a science, which is the way that they want to be moving things, and which is where they are by the time we really get to Game of Thrones. Dragons are gone.
Maesters kind of have unparalleled power in this universe.
Yeah. They're almost like it's almost at that point like the Maesters, like their job is done. They're just solidified. So like but it would definitely seem like it would make sense if, Otto out of this retreats to the Hightower and the Maesters, and they really put this plan into motion, and like he just constantly stays there and controls things from behind the.
How do you feel about Otto's character so far? Do you like him?
Do I like him like him? Like I think he's
not like him as in like you'd go out for a beer, but like
it was interesting because this episode he was so conniving that I was like, okay, he's feeling more like I said, like a villain. Like he's feeling much more like you're just
manipulating the king.
Right. And the other episode, I really felt like he was just like ready to sacrifice himself with Damon. Like in some ways for his king, but even just for his line. So I do think there's levels of complexity, which I think is great, but I do think at least I'm getting the picture that I don't want Otto's manipulations to stand. And regardless of what I think of him as a neat character and like probably a more complex character, I think like I feel like the show wants me, and I'm fine with the show wanting me to dislike him or to not want him to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
kind of where I am as well. Yeah, I don't want Otto to succeed. He definitely has his own nefarious plans, and it feels like Otto is very much like, oh, this is what's best for the realm. I'm doing this for the realm, even if it's against Viserys, personally. Right. Because the realm would never accept a female on the throne. They would cause rebellions and riots, and the realm would tear itself apart.
You think Otto's this way?
He said so to his daughter.
I just think that, like, he may believe but like he just wants what he wants. Like he wants his line. He's another second son type of.
And now his grandson might be king.
Mm-hmm. So he's just trying to solidify his line, and that's where everything that he's aimed. Like I said, when he goes to Damon, he is willing to sacrifice for the king, but like because that would push him right into exactly what he wanted. So be it. He had like this one choice. The reason he can allow he didn't want what happened to happen is that he didn't want to bolster Rhianna's claim.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhianna's claim. And he can't sacrifice or risk Viserys being killed. Because that's his entire way in.
That's the king.
So it's his only option to be like, okay, well, we're fucked here. You gotta do something. You're about to go if I don't do something else. So he intervenes, and he's like, okay. And I think he's like really willing to die, and that was. But Rhaenyra steps in, and it's all said and done. But yeah, I think Rhaenyra is clearly has like they're calling her the people love her. There's this mention of.
Rhaenyra.
Her being the spring of summer or something like that. I forget. I don't know,
she has some like weird.
Yeah, the spring summer flower.
The spring summer flower.
Yeah. But it's anything else in this episode that stood out? I mean, we open with the one, with the triarchy battles with the dragons and Daemon coming in. That was all good and hard pounding and then
they do have that comment where they say that many kings have tried to tame the Stepstones, but nobody can hold them for long. And the Stepstones are also like in the Narrow Sea, which is Greyjoy territory if my mental map of Westeros serves me.
I thought the Greyjoys were on the other side.
Are they?
I thought they're on the other coast.
Okay.
Like
I know there's two coasts.
I think they're closer to Lannisport. Like they're. Like King's Landing is the East Coast and Lannisport and the Iron Islands are on the they're closer. They're much more north. Like they're just like a shit area.
I mean, it's not great for sure.
But yeah, I think Lannisport's more like the West Coast of Westeros. But I could be wrong.
I believe. All right, so I just Googled it. I'm looking at this map right here. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's definitely on the East Coast.
Really? What is the Iron Islands?
The Iron Islands. Yeah.
Get it down.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Because
I think they're at the neck. I think they're like north enough to get to like a part where it cuts in.
Oh no! Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the heck I was looking at. This is different.
You're looking at the fingers, aren't you?
Yeah. So the Iron Islands, Greyjoy territory, is west. But but the stepstones are east. They are the neck. Yeah. So like the closest town would be like the Twins from the show. You also have like White Harbor is there. So yeah, that's apparently.
I mean, we've moved far enough that I felt like, oh god, darn it, the map. Like, the fuck's wrong with the map?
What do you mean?
Like, no, I mean, like, they went with this bloodline thing, and I think they just.
Oh yeah.
They should have. If they're gonna go with the other music, just fucking go with the map. You don't gotta do anything different. Just show us what it was like back then. You have different sigils. You have different works. If you're gonna do basically the same fucking thing, you're just gonna limit it to this bloodline that's gonna just constantly show us the Valerian, the.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be about Targaryens and all.
The map helped a lot.
Yeah, no, it definitely did.
Like the map helps, and this doesn't. And listen, HBO, there's absolutely no shame with you being like, just like, here's the fucking map one. Fuck it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a map in season 2, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay like this for all of season 1. But yeah, the map was really, really, really handy in Game of Thrones. But that's also because a lot of pieces of land traded hands from the battles and the conquerings. So,
and now I think we're gonna see that too. I
Do you think so?
We saw Aemon in The King's Landing in episode 1, and he's in Dragonstone in episode 2, and he's in the fucking Stones in episode 3. Like,
and he comes back in episode 4 to King's Landing, and he says that he's been crowned the King of the Narrow Sea.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're seeing a lot of different places. I'm not sure where they were. I think they said they were in the Kingswoods, or is it the Godswood? I don't know.
They were in the Kingswood during this episode, yeah.
And
which
we
is just outside King's
did
Landing.
see, I think there was some so since who is the sea pirate guy?
The crab feeder or Corlys? Sea serpent?
Sea serpent.
Yeah.
Since he left 3 years ago, the Lannisters, or at least one of those Lannister brothers, have stepped in as his master of ships or whatever, master of something. So like he stepped in as.
Is that what that was?
One of them's on the small council.
Yeah. There's I know.
I think it's one of the twins. The one that didn't propose to her.
It's not Jason.
Now,
it's like Ty something. Tyler.
It's so funny. It is really
Tyrod Taylor, former quarterback in the NFL. As far as you're concerned,
Tybalt or something like that, or Tyrus.
Sure.
Anyway,
Tybalt from Shakespeare.
Walt. Anyway, but it's so funny because like Tywin's brother.
Mm-hmm.
If you do yourself a favor and look up his name, it'll follow with this because Jason Lannister is another like just Jason, just regular old Jason. And I think Tywin's brother is something like Pete Lannister.
Kevin.
Kevan.
Kevin.
At the very least, they do spell it with like a V-A-N, like Kevan. But Jason doesn't even spelled wrong. It's not even like a Jason, like S-Y-N or something. It's just Jason.
Yeah, I mean, like
Jason
Tywin had Cersei, Tyrion, and Jaime, and Jaime's a normal name.
Is it?
Yeah, I work with a man named Jaime.
No. I'm saying at the very least, Jaime itself like is more of a. Is Jaime the full name?
Yeah, Jaimie. Jaime. That's just his name. Jaimie. Jaime.
That's funny because actually, now that I think about it, Jaime doesn't sound like a full name. He's the only Jaime in fucking Game of Thrones.
Also, Kevin and Dorna begat Martin, William, and Lancel. So there you go. They have a theory.
It's just to say that like they have
pattern.
those kind of pattern names, but then they also have like stupid names like Pete or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they kind of do.
And Jason.
And Jason. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Kyle Lannister.
It's definitely really freaking weird.
What are you doing, Kyle?
What are you doing, Kyle?
I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Kyle.
What was your favorite part of this episode, D? Because we talked about mine being the battle. Was yours the battle?
I mean,
Battle's pretty cool.
I mean, as it sticks out, the stag scene does stick out to me as like being interesting. I liked, yeah, I mean, the battle's pretty dope. It definitely stands out probably the most. But like, I liked it just kind of being at this tournament, or not this tournament, but this like this hunt, and like the the feastings and like the politic. The true politic that was going on here to like marry Rhaenyra, whatever.
Rhaenyra, how is this so hard for you?
I don't know why it's hard. And it's just I like the kind of just sitting in the politic of it and like seeing how it all works and seeing what the status of all this is and where everybody's going with it. Meanwhile, there was like kind of this this situation going on outside, and it looks like it's building to something, and I'm the characters are kind of getting personalities. I do think we are lacking in a Tyrion-esque character or someone that we can really latch onto at this stage. I have to imagine that Viserys is not long for this world.
Oh, for sure he's not. He can't be.
But I'm wondering who it is that we like. I'm very surprised that we haven't met a character that at least is like a Bronn or a Tyrion or a like the closest we have is like Kristen Kane. I feel like just this kind of swashbuckling knight guy who's just lowborn and kind of princely. Like, there's no cutthroat. There's no drunkard. Or there's not even a fucking, like, king, the king when we started Game of Thrones. There's nobody. There's no kind of, like, comic relief almost. It's just kind of dour. And I feel like it could really benefit from some of those characters. Because I don't think, that, like, the minstrel scene does it for me. Like, where you just torture this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't make me laugh or like think that Rhaenyra is cool.
No, and I don't think it's supposed to, because she was kind of a lot more compassionate earlier on in the first couple episodes, and now it's just like, did I tell you to fucking stop? Like, you're gonna keep fucking going until I say you're done. Like, she seems to be very much like in her own world and just angry and alone and just sad all the time. Right. Which is fine. I mean, wouldn't you be if you were told you're going to be queen and then your dad suddenly had a son?
If I was told I was going to be queen, I would absolutely
gosh, honey, I'd have so much to do.
Oh my gosh, I would be queening it up. But so do you have a letter grade in mind for this particular one?
I do. I think I'm going to give this a C.
Wow.
It's a C for me.
You're not. This is bad.
It's not bad. It passed.
C's bad.
C is passing. C is watch it.
No, it's not.
You're way tougher than normal people. D and F are bad.
There's only the
A
scale.
is like amazing. B is good. C is okay. D is bad. F is awful.
I think A and B are on the upscale, and C and D are on the low scale.
C
is like
average. It's literally average.
F is like a complete dud.
Okay, I didn't give it.
There's only 4 passing grades, like passing, and like you're in the low end of that.
But not the lowest.
Not the lowest, but this is like a low tier show. Like, I feel like you would give She-Hulk a higher rate of this, and I just do not think that's even a comparison. Like, this is much more quality television.
Though I wouldn't compare the two at all. That's unfair to both.
I'm comparing them in the sense of like the show that you would rather watch. Like, I would rather watch compelling television like Game of Thrones than I would a show like. Although I enjoy
She-Hulk
both.
is just a sitcom. Like that's not fair to judge it against a drama.
That's my point. Is saying like that's when I judge these things as like what do I rate it? I'm always putting it to that scale. When I say She-Hulk is like a I think I said like a B plus. Like I'm putting it at that level. Like I think it's a good, well done show in a lot of ways. It's not a television, but it's really well done.
Okay.
if you're giving this a C, you're saying this is lower, like way lower than, like, to me, you're saying like this is like.
I'm judging it on a different set of merits entirely.
It's weird.
I don't know why you even brought up
Explain.
She-Hulk. Because
But I'm just saying, like, what do you like? So I want to.
there are some things I'm not completely sold on, but I'm still like intrigued enough to keep watching.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's like you doesn't sound like you're like enjoying watching the show.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
C is average. C is passing. I don't
Sounds
think it's
bad,
great,
though.
but I think it's good.
See, like that's kind of my thought. Like I would like if I was watching the show and felt like I had C stuff, I'd be like, I don't want to watch this.
That would be D or lower.
Yeah.
You're a harsher critic.
Wow. You're the harsher critic. You're giving it a C.
Yeah, I guess I am. No, but you're saying C is a lot harsher than I'm saying. It's
I
average.
think
It's good. It's okay.
you're looking at like there's 20 you're giving it 50%. Like, way I
What's
look
your
at it is
letter
like,
grade, asshole?
I think it's. I don't want to give it A because it's too early. Like from what I've seen so far, I am not like floored to the point of like craziness. Now at this time of Game of Thrones, I don't think I am either. So I'm giving it the like hard B plus, like of like teetering on A minus.
Using a hard plus.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's like hard with a
If
hard.
I'd said
R.
C plus, would you shut the fuck up?
Nah.
No.
It's like
There's no
gotta be
making you
above
happy.
It's got to be above the hump. Like a B minus. I totally
Above
say.
your fucking hump.
Low B minus.
The production value is definitely there. HBO sunk every dollar into this
What's
show.
lacking? What did it mean?
I'm not completely sold on the plot lines and some of the characters, but like it's
Is it the characters or because that's
Some of-
my thing is like. There's characters that I like and I think they're intriguing, but I'm not like I'm missing
I
those
think
characters that I want to.
I'm still very tentative about it because I'm still so burned on Game of Thrones that I don't want to give HBO the credit.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
mean,
not
like,
fair to them.
Yeah,
but
and
also
that's
like
where I feel like you're judging to something. I'm just like, oh, I think this is honestly better than where Game of Thrones was 3 episodes in.
I don't think that at all, but I am willing to say this is a good show. I'm interested to see where it goes, but I mean, it could very easily take a nosedive in the next episode, and could think it's garbage.
Yeah.
But so far, it's good. I'm just very, very nervous about where it goes. I have a heart broke once already, D. I don't want to break my heart
Is there
again.
anything that you would like to see in this series, like in the world of Game of Thrones? Is there anything that you hope to maybe like touch upon? Like, oh, I'd like to check in on the X.
Not really, because this is all like almost 200 years before Game of Thrones
That's
happened.
what I'm saying. Is like,
So I don't-
Would you? Is there a house, a family, a place that you were in Game of Thrones that you thought you maybe really nothing?
No, because this is about the Targaryens. This has nothing to do with the
Yeah,
Starks.
but I
or...
mean, like you could go. Like, I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, I definitely
'Cause
would.
that's not what the premise of the show is.
Why?
It's House of
but
the Dragon.
Who cares? Like, what if Daemon holds up with Rhaenyra at the wall with dragons because they're fighting a war with this, and they're like, "Yeah, come at us at the wall." And they
Okay.
just hold up. Like, I'm just saying that like you can absolutely bring yourself to different places in this era and bring it there just because it's about the they own the fucking entire Westeros. Why can't we go anywhere there? Especially now that you have dragons. So like multiple dragons where people can kind of set up shop in places and
You
like,
could,
I mean,
but I mean,
I'd love to touch upon Essos or back to the.
there's no reason to go to these places because the
Why? What do you mean? Why?
the country's not at war. Why are you going anywhere?
What are you talking about? They were just at war.
In the fucking
It's
Stepstones
Game
for
of
a
Thrones.
minute.
They're bound to be at war soon enough, or somebody's bound to be doing something, or someone's at some place like Damon's
If they
at-
give me a good reason for being there, great. I don't want them to go to Winterfell just for the sake of going to Winterfell.
Obviously, I'm just saying that like
I don't want like them to go somewhere for fan service. I want it to actually prove a plot point. I don't want them to be like, "Oh, guys, remember the wall? Here it is." Like, no, fuck you.
I mean, fair enough. I get what you're saying, but like those are also awesome locations to have things that I haven't seen before.
Yes, sure, but again, I wanted to serve a purpose.
So okay, so like I mean, there could be places that we haven't seen yet, like Dorne.
Sure, yeah, take me somewhere I haven't been.
Like at least not seen well. Apparently, the Hanging Gardens of Dorne and stuff are supposed to be like really beautiful, and they did not do it justice in like season 5 where they shit.
Or
everything.
fucking have Daemon run away to Old Valeria in the ruins there and show us what that's
We've
all
been
about.
there. We've been there.
Oh yeah, for like a minute, I think.
Doom.
Yeah.
When he's attacked by the stone men.
Yeah, the Stone Men. Yeah. We saw a little bit of it, not a whole lot, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I would like to see the fingers. Like we got to see the stepstones here, like in these. Like
a little bit, yeah.
These are like I thought that was neat that we get to see these different locations. I would love to see more of.
Did we ever see Casterly Rock?
Not well. Like we saw it at the end of like season 8, like when they like get like. They go and take over Casterly Rock, but they just emptied it out and then like surrounded it with their navy.
Yeah,
And like sanctioned off all of the unsullied, like they just kind of like sanctioned off their army and just left them there. So they kind of won that battle as well. But we you know we didn't. It's supposed to be this majestic castle cut into like the mountain that and the mountain vaguely resembles a lion. To the point like it's built into it, like in this.
It's got a very fantastical description in the books for sure, and I'd like to maybe see it. Who knows?
Do you know what's funny about Casterly Rock? When he said it initially, I think I heard it from Tywin first in the first season of Game of Thrones. What I thought he was saying was that it was spelled like castle, and that it was Casterly Rock.
You know what's funny? I had a very similar first impression as well, because I didn't watch it with subtitles originally. Right. So I always thought it was like Casterly Rock or something like that. I had no idea what that first word was.
And I was like, that's great. Like I love that like you just Casterly. Like oh yeah, that's why it's spelled castle. Like spelled stupid like that. But yeah, Casterly Rock. And then just spelled the same way, you just pronounce it different. And then like, no, it's Casterly. And I'm like, you kind of wrote it for me. Damn it. It was better than my thought. And either way, there's a lot of locations that I think they can do better justice. Just the way they did the throne, I think, better in this.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of faith, but I'm very hesitant to give them that because I don't want to get let down again, and I feel like I'm gonna get let down again. But who knows?
Yeah, I'm just here for the ride, and I'm just like, okay, I was a little bit more hesitant the first episode. It was intriguing enough. I liked the performances enough. Second episode seemed like it was raising the tension. I'm kind of intrigued. Third episode kind of delivered on some cool parts, and I feel like I can't ask for much more there. It's not Premiere. It's no fucking Peacemaker. It's not The Boys. You know,
nothing will ever match the Peacemaker or The Boys.
But it's pretty darn close compared to some of the things we've seen, and I feel like it deserves some high rates there. Because shit, I feel like I gave Hawkeye some kind of B.
You did. You gave Hawkeye way better of a grade than it deserved. But you know, apparently,
actually, I gave a lot of that grade, if I recall correctly, because we will find out this Christmas if it's bingeable.
Yeah, I guess so. I think Hawkeye remains one of the top-rated shows on Disney Plus right now. Like, it's up there with like The Simpsons.
Bro,
I don't understand why or
for
how.
Real, bro?
For real, bro. It's fucking weird, bro.
Bro.
Anyway, anything else to add about episode 3 or the show as a whole so far?
Just that I hate you, and I think you should give better grades, and you don't do any work for the show, and you should work harder, and you should feel bad about yourself.
The first 2 points had a couple bits of merit, maybe, but
forget those.
Work my ass off for this show.
Those. No. You're lazy.
Excuse
me.
Good
Good for nothing.
All right.
I mean,
Dad, is that you?
Jesus. I mean, like,
is that what the D stands for? You my dad.
And maybe do something on time for once. You know, what would you try to go for Sunday or Saturday, and then you end up doing yesterday, right? Another procrastination. Another.
Anyway,
just kidding. All this
that was
Jeff
yeah.
Is great.
All of that was bullshit. For the record, thank you all for listening to this episode of House the Dragon.
You're
coverage.
right. I'm wrong.
Thank you. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a kind review on your favorite podcasting platform. Give us 5 stars. Write a little something. Tell us how much you like us. It means a lot to me.
Tell Jeff how much he's wrong about his rating here and how I'm right about my rating.
I'm very insecure. Please don't be mean to me online. You can also check us out on patreon.com/TBA&DJ
that's good.
podcast.
They're going to like that. They're going to go with like red meat for that.
And coffee.com/TBA&DJ podcast if you want. If not, please just, spread us around like a bad, venereal disease. Tell all your friends, give it to everyone. And that was our show. Thank you all. Have a good night. Get home safe.
Guys.
We'll be right back.